Visa is proud to celebrate the fans this season. Visa, it's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Existentialists believe that the universe is meaningless and that human existence has no purpose. Daddy, take a nap, take a nap, take a nap. Daddy, take a nap. Whoa, whoa, Daddy got the floor, take a nap.
Undeclared premieres Tuesday, September 18th after the season premiere of That 70s Show on Fox.
Okay, guys, gather around.
This is Sam Adams of the Baltimore Ravens. Sam helps the United Way build stronger communities by participating in first aid training developed to help kids succeed. Sam knows the meaning of the word success.
Support his head. Apply gentle pressure. Check the pulse. And do not panic.
Panic.
Here in Baltimore, the score a surprising 3-3 at the half on an exchange of field goals. The Baltimore Ravens, defending Super Bowl champions, fortunate to be even at 3. And we'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Hey, you know what's cool?
And welcome back to Baltimore, getting ready for the third quarter with the Bears and the Ravens in a surprising 3-3 tie on opening day, the defending Super Bowl champions. Troy, when you look at the score, would you say, well, it's 3-3 in favor of the Ravens considering all the adversity they've had to face?
Well, I don't know that you would. I don't know that they go into it thinking that way. I think Chicago's got to have a big moral lift right now going into this ball game tied. A lot of people didn't think it would even be a close ball game. Obviously, Chicago's defense has shown that they're up to the task at playing at the same level and matching the performance of the Baltimore Ravens defense.
Moose, what do you see in the second half as far as adjustments that we might see?
Well, Troy talked about momentum at the end of that first half with the Ravens kicking the field goal. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue that, or does Chicago regroup, come out in the second half, and continue to play the way they did that opening half.
All right, let's take a look at that last drive by the Ravens, which set up the game-tying field goal.
Starts out with just some short passes to Qadry Ismail to get the momentum built. Very fortunate here with Todd Heap going back inside in the 2-minute drill where they had to burn a timeout.
A nice catch there by Shannon Sharp. They come back to the outside there to Qadry Ismail. He's able to get out of bounds. Another completion there to get out of bounds to help set up that field goal and make it a 3-3 ball game at half.
Yeah, Mike Green, a very costly penalty for the Chicago Bears. The personal foul allowed Matt Stover to get a shorter field goal as we look at our first half stats.
And no big surprises there. The loss of Jamal Lewis really evident when you take a look at those statistics.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that you look at what's happened. The time of possession down for the Ravens compared to where they've been in the past. What you're seeing is that the defense is going to have to carry the load again this year. Nothing's changed, even though they're doing it a different style offensively for the Baltimore Ravens.
So we're tied at 3-3 as we get ready for the second half. And the kickoff by Paul Edinger. And here is Jermaine Lewis. Lewis to the 30-yard line, and a good strong return by Jermaine Lewis to the 32-yard line. So a 24-yard return to set up Elvis Gerback.
Well, I think now's the time that you get a chance to see what exactly has been discussed amongst these coaches in the locker room at halftime and the adjustments that they're going to be able to make in order to try to give themselves some success. And this series here will tell if they're going to try to do anything differently or if they're going to try to stick to doing the things that they did there in the first half.
From the 32-yard line, Gerback with play fake on first down, getting some pressure, and the pass knocked away. Good defensive play on Sam Gash by the linebacker Warwick Holdman.
But it's those big guys again in the middle of that defensive line. Ted Washington right here, the big guy, you can't miss him. He's going to get a big push right here on center Mike Flynn. He loops around to the outside. A little twist right there, and Elvis Gerbach walks right into him. But you see all the guys back there in Elvis's lap.
Baltimore Ravens opening up against two NFC Central teams, the Bears today, and then a week from tomorrow, the Minnesota Vikings come to town. Here's Gerbach with the deep drop, and the pass caught by Ismail. Gets by a linebacker, and Ismail brings it out close to midfield, and a first down and a gain of 15 yards. And right now, let's check in with Pam Oliver.
All right, Dick, I spoke with Dick Duran at halftime. He says he's pleased with a lot of things, but he says we're going to have to rely on some big plays, obviously, to get some points on the board. Meantime, I overheard Ravens defensive lineman Rob Burnett talking about the importance of patience and discipline. He says the Bears are doing pretty much what they expected with the spread formations, but that they're hurting themselves with penalties. Back to you.
Eavesdropping again, Pam. Good job. 1st and 10 at the 47. And here's Terry Allen. Allen brought in the running back by committee, but so far Allen has been the key performer, picking up 4 yards. And Brian Urlacher, first time we've mentioned his name today.
Brian Urlacher going into this game talked about how he really enjoys what Ray Lewis is doing. He wants to be like Ray Lewis, always around the ball, only in his 2nd year, but the Bears are just really impressed with his potential. Not only the physical abilities to do a lot of different things for him, but very sharp mentally. They can ask him to do things during the flow of the game, and he adjusts very quickly.
2nd and 6 at the 49. He was the defensive rookie of the year last season. Here's Terry Allen. Nothing. Fumble. And the loose ball and the scramble again. And it's picked up by the Bears. And it looks like Brian Robinson recovers the fumble. So the first turnover of the game, and it's Terry Allen who coughs it up, and the Bears get it near midfield.
And they really haven't had an opportunity to get their running game going today. And right here, Terry Allen on the outside, and it's just coming loose. Oh, it looks like his knee might have been down. We'll see if we can get a replay here with this substitution officiating crew. It looked like Terry Allen was down when that football came out.
Yeah, it looked close, and they're going to get a playoff, it looks like Chicago is, so there won't be a review.
Ted Washington actually knocked the ball loose. Robinson recovered. First down at midfield for the Bears, and here's James Allen, and he gets a couple of yards. So the review scenario is moved at this point.
And you wonder how all that works with these replacement officials in here and not having been exposed to the challenge system and replays and reviews, and you know, whether or not they're comfortable going through that process, because I know that the regular officials, it took them some time before they became comfortable with it themselves.
So Allen on the sideline, played with the Saints last year and trying to give them some running game, and it's 2nd down and 9, and James Allen, the running back, on the quick, picks up a couple of yards, and James Trapp is there. And of course that would have been a coach's challenge in the last 2 minutes of the half and the game. It is the review committee upstairs on the challenge.
Yeah, they're trying to get James Allen here outside. They're going to try to get him matched up. What they'd like to do is get him matched up on a linebacker. That's what they're trying to do, but they don't do that. The Ravens come up with James Trapp, they kick back the corner, and they don't get as much out of the play as what they'd like.
3rd down and 7, and again they spread it out. 3 wide receivers. Out of the shotgun is Shane Matthews. A low snap pressure on Matthews. His pass tipped and intercepted. A flag is down as Ray Lewis brings it back for the Ravens. And like a runaway train, he fumbles. And the Ravens pick it up inside the 30-yard line. It was Rob Burnett ultimately who picked up Ray Lewis's fumble. There was a flag back on the 45-yard line.
Anybody else impressed with Ray Lewis's running ability on that?
Well, they might have found themselves a running back if one of these other guys can't do it. Now we'll just see what the flag is here and what's going to happen. This could be a huge momentum shift if in fact it goes against Chicago.
I've got the backfield. Sam Gash at fullback, and Ray Lewis dots the I in the I formation.
He'll have to change his number, but here is the call, and it's offside, or it looks like an interference call, an offensive interference ruling against the Baltimore Ravens. That was a wild play on the tip ball by Woodson, and then the interception by Ray Lewis. A 34-yard play, and that's going to go for naught.
Offsides, number 90 on the defense. Pass interference on the defense. Spot foul, first down.
Yeah, there was some movement there at the snap of the ball, and they were able to call the Ravens offsides on that one. And then in addition to that, they get the pass interference call. Huge break for the Chicago Bears.
Rob Burnett was the one who was offside. And there is the quick pass to Marty Booker. And Booker can't get away from the defenders. Pick up a yard and a half with the Trapp and Jamie Sharper in on the play. But here are the Bears once again in Raven territory.
Good to see that Marvin Lewis, he's made some adjustments at halftime. That was a play that hurt him a little bit in that first half. It's really an extension of the running game. You know, you don't need to beat your head against the wall against this Ravens front. They're trying to get out on the perimeter with these short passes. You see the adjustment right there. Unsuccessful the first 2 times they've run it this half.
Second down and 9 for the Bears. 3-3 the score already. A big surprise in the handoff to James Allen, trying to push the pile, and Allen, a very feisty runner to say the least, gets to the 30-yard line, bringing up third and about 5. Tony Siragusa on the tackle.
Well, he's you talk about James Allen, and he's not a real big guy, and so for a guy of his size to be willing and able to run it between the tackles like that, really into the strength of that defensive football team, is really saying something. They're able to get some yards there. What John Shoup, the offensive coordinator, wanted to do was keep it to third and medium to third and short. Right here is at 3rd and 5. He feels like this is an area that works into their favor in converting third downs.
3rd and 5, and the pass caught by David Terrell short of the first down by about 2.5 yards, and the field goal team comes in for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, in the Baltimore Ravens, you talk about the big guys inside and all that. The thing that really makes this defense go is, 1, their speed, and 2, their tackling abilities. You just do not see guys miss tackles in the open field. 21 there, Chris McAllister. He's one of the best at it, and their whole football team's very efficient.
This will be a 45-yard attempt on orthodox style for Paul Edinger, and his kick is long enough and good, and the Bears taking a 6-3 lead with 9.5 minutes remaining, capitalizing on that fumble by Terry Allen. So Edinger now with a 20-yarder, and now the 45-yarder, and Chicago regains the lead.
Fox NFL Sunday, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 30 years of freedom, 30 years, one mission, low fares.
And Paul Edinger's kick fielded by Jermaine Lewis inside the 5-yard line, and he brings it out to the 27-yard line. So the Bears leading 6-3. And the Chicago Bears, for the 3rd time in the last 6 years, opening up the season against the Super Bowl champs. But they're leading.
Hey, let me call you back. There must be my blind date.
Marshall.
Punt, Marshall, punt.
Kickoff weekend continues later today on Fox.
It's been a game of field goals with the Bears leading 6-3 over the defending Super Bowl champion Ravens, and bringing you a glimpse eye view from about 1,000 feet above Baltimore Harbor, the Fujifilm blimp with captains Mike Fitzpatrick and Mike Hance at the helm, and you can see a bit overcast now from the blue skies we had earlier. First down for the Ravens. Terry Allen trying to go wide, and coming in first was Brian Urlacher, and slowed him up, and ultimately a loss of 1 yard. That's the Urlacher we've come to know.
Well, it is, and we've not talked a lot about him so far. Here he is right here in the middle, and he's going to come off the corner. Excuse me, he's coming off the top there, but you got him coming off at Terry Allen. And Brian's a guy who he can run sideline to sideline a lot like Ray Lewis, and a guy who, as we mentioned earlier, feel very good about and has a bright future.
Only 17 rushing yards today, and Elvis Gerback on 2nd and 11. And the pass to Qadry Ismail is incomplete. He had an opportunity for that, and defending on the play was Tony Parrish.
And that's what this team needs right now. They need somebody to step up and make a play. And right here, Qadry Ismail has that opportunity. Jerry Azuma doesn't get his head turned around. Qadry sees the ball all the way. And watch here at the last second. Hits him right in the chest. He can't hold on. And that's been the case all day today. Nobody has stepped up and raised the level of play on either side of the ball for the Ravens.
Yeah, and you're always looking for that guy, that one guy who's going to do that to elevate the rest of his teammates.
Dallas leading Tampa Bay 6-3 in a surprise as you see the scores. Fumble at the line and a mix-up on the exchange between Mike Flynn and Elvis Gerback. On the last possession by the Ravens, the Bears recovered, but this time Baltimore recovers. And it's 4th down punting situation.
Looks like right there that ball never got back up to Elvis Gerback. And, you know, Troy, it's something that a lot of people take for granted, that quarterback-center exchange. But when you got a big guy on you like Ted Washington and Keith Traylor, sometimes that snap's not as easy.
Right, yeah. Brian Robinson was lined up over the top of him. And when you get a center, so many times they're so worried about getting off and blocking that big guy that they don't worry about getting the snap up there, and that's their first and primary concern. And you just can't have that in a ball game like this, a close ball game like that. You can't have those kind of miscues at that position.
R.W. McQuarters goes back, and Kyle Richardson, one of the better punters in the league, and getting it inside the 20. He won't hear, of course. And here is McQuarters, dodges one defender, and he is finally brought down at the 41-yard line, and a penalty marker is tossed at midfield. Conferences may be a little longer with the replacement officials. Referee Joseph Ryder, and it's going to be a personal foul against the Ravens.
Personal foul, number 88 on the defense after a change of team possession. 15 yards, first down.
Oh, John
TV
Jones.
timeout.
And the Bears will get the ball in Raven territory when we return. Tough penalty again.
Watch your screen right here. We're going to get to see that penalty that was just called. More frustration by the Baltimore Ravens. John Jones throwing a couple jabs on Carl Powell. They've got to maintain their composure.
Powell, former Baltimore Raven, and Shane Matthews on first down. Unable to make the catch on the turnaround attempt was James Allen, bringing up 2nd and 10 at the 44 of Baltimore. So the Ravens a bit out of sync in this game, and it started that way with that 14-play drive ending up with a field goal, but the Bears have hung tough. They didn't get 7, and then they missed a field goal, but they're in front by 3. And again, the no huddle, Shane Matthews. And incomplete is the call, Des White. And another penalty flag is down. White covered by Peter Boulware. And it may be, it could be an ineligible man downfield. We'll wait for the official call from Joseph Ryder, who worked yesterday's Georgia Tech Navy game. Won by Tech 70-70.
Yeah, he had a full day yesterday.
70-7, I should say.
You know, I think you take a look at what Chicago's done.
It's got a full day today too, guys.
Ineligible downfield. Number 84 on the offense. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That was Baxter.
You take a look at what Chicago's done today, and they've been very patient. very methodical in the way that they've tried to approach and attack this defensive football team, and it's worked up to this point. But at some point in the ball game, they have got to be able to take some shots down the field and create some big plays. They can't continually go like this and not expect Baltimore to make a run and score points.
And they said they were going to take some shots, and they really haven't. Third down and 10 on the 44 of the Ravens. The crowd into the game again. On the rollout, here is Shane Matthews, and Matthews nearly gets stripped of the ball and does. Boulware, and it's recovered by the Bears, but not before a loss on the play back to midfield.
And the Ravens are just a step behind on making that big play defensively. Right here, Peter Boulware strips the ball, but they're just not getting the breaks that they've normally got. In the season last year, they would have been on that ball. They would have gotten a couple of these deflected passes. They're just a step short of making that big defensive play.
And I think maybe that goes back to the fact that these guys did not work in tandem, all 11 players, throughout any of the games in the preseason.
First time the starting defensive line was intact. You're right. So Brad Maynard with the superb kick and the fair catch called for by Jermaine Lewis at the 12-yard line. The feet of Chicago lead the feet of Baltimore 6-3.
Introducing the best damn sports show, period.
I hope I don't tear a ligament in my ass.
Join Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of washed-up all-stars.
You got that right, brother.
As they take you places no other show dares to go. Sports comedy.
What, are you horny or something? Come on.
Commentary.
If it wasn't for him, baseball would be in the toilet right now.
Updated scores and highlights. What more could you want from a sports show?
I'm a fan, brother. That's more than an athlete.
The best damn sports show, period. Weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30, beginning September 17th.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the reinvented Toyota Camry. Get the feeling. By Don't Say a Word, starring Michael Douglas, September 28th, only in theaters. By the motor oil that provides maximum protection. Castrol GTX, drive hard. And by DirecTV, the #1 satellite entertainment provider.
And the first down play is caught by Shannon Sharp. And Sharp, with his third catch of the day, gets about 5 yards, with Tony Parrish, the strong safety, making the play for the Bears.
You know, coming into this ball game, Brian Billick talked about how he wanted to be able to back up the Chicago offense during the course of the ball game. And what's happened, what we've seen here now in the third quarter, is the exact opposite has happened. And the Baltimore Ravens are having to start deep in their own territory on every possession.
Second down and 4 from the 19. Pressure on Gerback. The pass is caught. And it's the rookie tight end, Todd Heap. And a first down at the 45-yard line, so already paying dividends for the Ravens. Warwick Holdman missed him, couldn't wrap him up, and Heap burned them for 24.
One of the ways they wanted to attack Chicago's defense was with their 2 tight end package. They figured that Shannon Sharp would draw a lot of the attention and Todd Heap would be able to make some plays. This one right here, though, what a great job of breaking some tackles and getting some extra yards. He makes a huge play after the catch.
Todd Heap, in his NFL debut, 5 catches for 57 yards. First down at the 43. Jermaine Lewis, who is lined up in the backfield, goes in motion to the right. And the pass intended for Ismail over his head, incomplete. And right now, for a game break, let's go to James Brown at the Fox Network Center. JB?
Dig, Troy, and Darrell. Saints found something to strike with at the half. Take a look at Brooks going up top, 46 yards for Albert Connell, guarded nicely by Ken Irvin, but Connell comes up with the acrobatic catch. 10-6 now with that field goal. New Orleans on top of Buffalo. Dick, Troy, and Darrell.
Well, he's from Buffalo, so you get to comment on that game. Moose?
It was a tough situation playing Super Bowls against Buffalo, so I'm not even going to comment on that one.
Second down and 10. Play action for Gerback. Looking for a receiver, and there's Stokely. First down for the Ravens at the Bear 45-yard line, and it may be the first time that this offense has been in sync all day. Gain of 12 yards. First catch for Stokely.
You know, you talked about it, DJ, and they wanted to come out with a 2 tight end package. Here it is off of a boot. Elvis is working front side. He doesn't have it. He works back. He comes back to Stokely on the sideline. Here's the route right here. He gets McQuarters running and comes in and out of his breaks, and that's exactly what you want to see. And a really nice job by Elvis finding him, and a great job by Stokely getting the separation.
on the 45-yard line. First down, and there's the screen to Ian Badejo. And Obafemi Ian Badejo with a phalanx of blockers in front of him on the screen gets down to the 30-yard line and picks up 15 for another first down.
When we talked about it earlier in the ball game, and what happens is when it's, you look right here and the blockers that are going to be out in front of him off the screen pass right here. You've got Edwin Mulatalo right here, Mike Flynn right here, leading the way for him. Obafemi's able to get in behind him there, and just very well executed.
So the Ravens moving impressively for the first time on offense today. With 4:50 to go in the third quarter, Terry Allen. Good second and third effort for Allen. And he gets inside the 25. Gain of about 5.5 yards for Terry Allen, who played in Minnesota when Brian Billick was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings.
You know, Dick, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the ball game, and when you leave a team in it and you let them hang around, Chicago has dominated the game for the most part in the first half, most of the third quarter. But when you leave a team like this, especially a world championship football team, at some point they're going to make a run, and we're witnessing that run right now.
Colts are making a run at the Jets, as you see on the Fox box. Second down and 5. Here's Allen. Breaks one to the left side and knocked out of bounds by Brian Urlacher, but the Ravens picking up another first down inside the Bears' 20.
And you talked about somebody making a play. This is all come when Elvis Gerback made that throw with Brandon Stokely you talked about, and now Terry Allen is picking it up. A good physical run last time right here following the block of Sam Gash on the outside, and they're moving the line of scrimmage right now. You can see the linemen down to the second tier of backs, into the linebackers, into the secondary. This is a much different football team than just one previous possession.
Jason Brookins in the game for the first time, and running back was impressive in preseason. And Brookins is impressive on his first carry as he gets inside the 10 and close to yet another first down for the Ravens. It was McQuarters and Parrish on the tackle.
Well, you see right there that they want to bring Jason Brookins in. They know Terry Allen's going to need some rest. They bring in Jason Brookins, a little bit bigger, more physical back. You can't do it without the guys up here and up front creating the lanes for him. Jason makes one guy miss. He's up inside there, and when he's on safeties, Mike Brown coming up to take the hit for Chicago. But when you get Jason Brookins on backs, that's a mismatch.
Second down and 2. And the handoff to Allen back in the game. And Allen loses the ball there. The ball came loose. They'll still be short of the first down. And the Ravens recovering, bringing up a third and short.
So they're coming in right now. They're going back to what they call their Tiger personnel, which is 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a back. And they started this series off with some of that, as DJ mentioned earlier, when they were able to make the big play to Todd Heap. And look for something here, I would think, to one of these tight ends. You got Shannon Sharp right there. He's going in motion, or Todd Heap on the other side.
Third down and about 1. Allen breaks the tackle and gets the first down to the 6. So Terry Allen awakening here in the latter stages of the third quarter as the Baltimore Ravens finally looking crisp on offense to the delight of the sellout crowd.
Well, this is the most emotion we've seen from the Baltimore Ravens all afternoon, and you'll see Jonathan Ogden right here at the outside of the perimeter just burying his guy. These guys are playing at a different level right now. They have definitely picked up the tempo, and this is what you expect from a defending world champion.
This is the 11th play of this drive, starting on the Raven 13. Gerback wide open, and it's a touchdown to Sam Gash.
You talk about why this works. It's because it all started with their ability to run the football in this series. They come off, they fake the dive, they come out with Sam Gash in the flat wide open. They had 18 yards rushing prior to this series. This series they're able to get something going in the running game, and it opened up everything. They made plays in the passing game right there off the running play action. They get the touchdown to Gash.
And Matt Stover adding the extra point in, our first touchdown of the season with 1:48 remaining in the third quarter. And the Ravens take a 10-6 lead. Veteran fullback Sam Gash could have crawled in.
Hey.
And there is veteran fullback Sam Gash, who came to the Ravens a year ago when Charles Evans got hurt, caps an 11-play, 87-yard drive. Gerback was 5 for 6. And Jerry Azuma slips on the return and trying to go wide. And Azuma trying to get around James Trapp and finally dragged down at the 28. And we have a great opener coming up in the second half of our NFL doubleheader. The fans in Baltimore, by the way, will be seeing the Redskins and Chargers in Marty Schottenheimer's debut. But Rams and Eagles out. What about the Philadelphia Eagles trying to upgrade the receiver corps?
Yeah, and that was a big priority for them going into the offseason, and they were able to do that successfully. Their #1 pick was Freddie Mitchell. They bring in James Thrash as a free agent. I think it's a tremendous upgrade for them, and offensively, they should be much more productive than what they were a year ago to complement a great defensive football team.
Bears on the 28, first down. Here is James Allen, smothered. And now for a game break, let's check in with James Brown at the Fox Network Center.
Big Troy and Darrell. Dante Culpepper trying to make amends for 2 picks as he runs this one in himself. 7 yards for the score. Randy Moss still with no catches, but it's Carolina now leading Minnesota by only 3. That in the third. Dick, Troy, and Darrell.
Boy, some strange openers, guys, huh?
Well, there have been some scores early that you would not expect.
What happens early in this part of the season? Second down and 10. This one is a surprise, too, although the Ravens with the lead. James Allen getting nothing. Now, all of a sudden, the running game dissolved with the defense and some temperance flare momentarily.
And what a surprise in this Baltimore Ravens football team to see the offense providing a lift for the defense. All last season, it was the other way around. The defense picked up the offensive side of the ball, but that last drive, 87 yards, capped off by the touchdown to Sam Gash, has given this defense new life. They're picking up right where the offense left off.
Third down and 8. Final seconds of this third quarter. And Matthews trying to get it to Des White on a slant, and it's incomplete. And with 11 seconds to go, fourth down, and the crowd will give the Raven defense a standing ovation as they leave the field.
They've gone to the well one too many times with that quick screen out there. Marvin Lewis has already proven that he made the adjustment at halftime necessary to shut that play down. John Shoup now has to move on and find another way in his offensive game plan to move this football.
There's Jermaine Lewis, always the threat. Brad Maynard will be kicking from the 15. Booming kick by Maynard, heading toward the sidelines and out of bounds. That is a terrific kick by the former New York Giant, as there is no return, and a huge kick inside the 30-yard line. But now
they turned that they really took some distance off on him.
Yeah, they get it on the 35. Wow. And that was one of the things that they said they were going to do. Maynard, who is normally a little more effective than that, but they wanted to kick the ball away from Jermaine Lewis, and I think maybe there they should have kicked it a little closer to him.
Troy, I thought they kicked it down to the 20-yard line. Of course, you have to be on that side to see the angle where it went out of bounds. But you're right about Brad Maynard's kick. So the Ravens have field position, but no time. And here is Elvis Gerback, and the pass is caught by Condre Ismail as time runs out. That is the end of the third quarter with the score, the Ravens 10 and the Bears 6. We'll be right back to Baltimore after these messages from your local Fox station.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
And we begin the fourth quarter here in Baltimore with the Ravens clinging to a 10-6 lead over the Bears. And after a big first half for Chicago, look at the second half. The Ravens outproducing the Bears 118-7. And the Ravens getting the ball on their own 47-yard line to start the fourth quarter. Elvis Gerback, who took over for Trent Dilfer, now is with Seattle. And a play-action pass coming up. Verback gets away from a defender going downfield, and it passes out of bounds to Stokely, incomplete. Well, we said all along, guys, that you know, the Bears knocking on the door but not getting anything other than field goals. But at this point, how do you rate it? Because the fact is it's a close game and the Bears are still in the game even though they're behind. Moose?
Well, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast. If they can just get into the fourth quarter and keep it close, that's what they want to do. And they've done that right now. So just don't panic. Stay with it. You've got yourself right to the spot you wanted to be.
Shane Matthews, who has really not been touched. There's Shannon Sharp sitting down after the catch, and a first down to the Bear 40-yard line. I think the Bears now have to be concerned about this Baltimore offense.
Well, I don't think there's any question. I think what you've seen in the last series and then on into this one is that they're starting to develop some momentum. Shannon Sharp does such a great job of being able to find the holes within a defense. There he is right there sitting in within a zone defense. And Elvis being able to find him, and that's, you know, you think about Elvis and the tight ends that he's worked with over the course of his career. This is just another extension of that. He worked with Brent Jones in San Francisco also.
And the swing pass out to Terry Allen. And Allen diving, and let's see if he stepped out of bounds, and he did. The officials rule he stepped out of bounds at the 34-yard line, so he's still about 4 yards or so short of the first down.
R.W. McQuarters, he's got to use the sideline to his advantage right there. He's got Terry Allen on the sideline. Just come up and stay up top. Knock the guy out of bounds. Don't go down at his feet.
McQuarters, a former first-round draft pick by the San Francisco 49ers, finds himself in a starting role at cornerback. Here's Allen, slammed back hard, and maybe a yard on the play.
We talked about the offense generating all this momentum. It came on a drive where they used all their weapons. Todd Heap gets it started. We see Jason Brookins right there with a big run. Terry Allen also running the football. Obafemi had a big screen, and then at the end of it, you always got to go to your fullback to make sure things get done right.
But that was our problem. We didn't do it enough.
Very nice comment by you, Troy. There's the handoff up the middle to Obafemi Ayan-Badejo. Back to the 30-yard line, and it close to the first down. Now for a game break, let's go to James Brown at the Fox Network Center. JB?
And Dick, Minnesota starting to loosen up a little bit here. Take a look at Chris Carter, the old Wiley veteran, as he hooks up with Dante Culpepper, a 12-yard strike. Carter now 125 total touchdowns, tying Walter Payton. Extra point no good. 13-10 Vikes. Back to Dick, Troy, and Darrell.
Well, I tell you what, you look at these three guys here and the job that they do, Culpepper and Chris Carter and Randy Moss, and what quarterback would not like to have the ability to throw it to these two guys? And even though they lose Robert Smith, who's obviously a great running back, these two players here, these three players actually, they're not going to lose too much offensive production with the guys that they still have playing for them.
Troy, you'd still be playing if you had those guys to throw to. I'd
play till I was about 50.
I think the concern for Minnesota has to be on the defensive side of the ball. Dwayne Rudd is gone. John Randall is gone. From a defense that was kind of suspect last year anyways.
4th and inches for the Ravens. Allen in motion to the left. Ayan-Badejo knocked back, and they don't make it. And the Bears defense will take over on downs, and Philip Daniels and Keith Traylor, the left side of that defensive line, stuff the Ravens and will get the ball back.
You look at Philip Daniel and the job that he's able to do coming up inside. They come up inside here on a 4th down play. They're able to get some penetration. The line's not able to get anything moving, and he doesn't make the first down.
Huge defensive play by the Bears. Now let's see what they do with the ball.
This is Glenn Milburn of the Chicago Bears. These are Glenn Milburn's feet, and these are his people. Glenn spends time with seniors through his local United Way. In turn, the seniors spend time with Glenn. They know what time it is.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by the reinvented Toyota Camry. Get the feeling. By DirecTV, the #1 satellite entertainment provider. By Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. and by Holiday Inn, who gives you more. More is better.
And those great aerial shots you've been seeing are being brought to you courtesy of the Fujifilm Blimp and onboard cameraman Rob Gunter. First down at the 31-yard line, and Anthony Thomas with his first carry of the day. He's been bothered by a knee injury, but highly regarded. Like Terrell, the wide receiver out of Michigan, the second pick. David Terrell picked on the first. As you look again, the Fujifilm Blimp giving us these shots today in Baltimore as the Ravens holding up that Super Bowl trophy. But it's a new year. 2nd and 6 at the 35. Again, they go to Thomas. And Thomas barrels it out to the 40, short of the first down by about a yard with Burnett on the play.
I like this little changeup right here. Not only does it bring a fresh running back into the game, but it brings a running back with a totally different style than James Allen. He's kind of caught this defense off guard right now. He's not going to hop around and cut back the way James Allen does.
And the other thing that's a little bit surprising is normally they like to run to their right side behind James Williams and Chris Valerio, but they've had more of their success today running the ball along the left side behind Brockermeyer and Tucker.
Bears need a yard. 4 for 11 on third down conversions in Chicago. And the handoff to Thomas, diving forward. And let's see where they spot it. It'll be close. And the Ravens trying to close the opening. Jamie Sharper on the play. And we understand that the left tackle Blake Brockermeyer has cramps and getting fluids over at the sideline. Let's see if we have a measurement.
We were out on the field earlier today during pregame, and it is very hot and very humid up here. It was a question how these big tackles on both sides of the ball would handle this. They have the rotation, but a guy like Blake, he's taken all the snaps at offensive tackle. He's definitely starting to feel the effects of the heat.
And they do not make it. It is 4th down. 4th down. It's 10-6.
4th down, and they're going to go for it, Dick.
What do you think?
Kind of different than calling a draw on 3rd and 15 right here, going for it on 4th and inches in your territory.
I like the call. I mean, they're the underdogs coming into this ball game. They know that they're in this game in the 4th quarter, down by 4 with 11 minutes to play. I like the fact that they're showing some aggressiveness here and saying, hey, if we can get a first down here, it's going to keep a drive alive and hopefully get us right back in this ball game with a chance to win.
And they're going to have a chance to talk things over as the Bears call a timeout. So a timeout called by the Bears with 4th down and less than 1.
Apparently they weren't that confident about it.
We'll be back here in Baltimore after these messages. And the Bears calling a timeout, getting set for 4th down and less than a yard. Blake Brockermeyer, who is in the locker room getting fluids, back in at left tackle. So here it is, 4th and 1 at the 40-yard line, and Shane Matthews with the quarterback sneak and has the first down. So the timeout was called prior to that call, and it was Matthews silencing the crowd.
What a great surge by the guards in the center on that play. They came up with a little bit of a quick count. Olin Kreutz, Chris Valerio, and Rex Tucker. Watch them move the line of scrimmage right here. What a great job. That's plenty. I mean, they had 4th and inches.
And they're doing that against a big group of bodies in there. And really nice job by those 3 interior guys.
James Allen is back as the setback for the Bears on the 42-yard line. Bears trailing the Ravens 10-6, and Allen getting the call, picking up maybe a yard.
You know, the thing about it is in talking with John Shoup, he kept saying it, and they emphasized it throughout training camp, that they wanted to be able to run the football, and they really felt that with Croton, the other offensive coordinator, they got away from that, and they threw the ball too much. And you want to wait and see how a coordinator does it in a ball game. But the one thing that he's shown today is he is going to stick with running the football. He has executed this game plan just like he drew it up for us last night.
2nd down and 9 at the 43-yard line. Scott Dragos in motion, and they go to Allen again. Nothing good doing. And it was Tony Siragusa and the crowd with the resounding goose from the crowd. By the way,
I thought that was for me.
That was Moose. And by the way, Tony Siragusa's wife also gave birth to a young baby, just as you guys had.
She did. A little girl. I talked to him before the game. Obviously very excited. I believe it's his third child. And about 4 days after what Darryl and I, when we had our daughters.
No defacing the signs, Moose. 3rd down and 8.
They're going to their bunch set.
Terrell in motion to the left. Shane Matthews again getting time. His pass almost in the hands of Ray Lewis, of all people. And Lewis is wondering how he couldn't come up with it. And Matthews slow getting up. He's all right. 4th down.
And you've made this point several times during the preseason, Troy, that Ray gets a lot of attention for his ability as a run stuffer, but I think his coverage in pass defense is overrated or underrated also. He is always around the ball. He reads the eyes of the quarterback better than anybody I've seen. You saw him right there move from side to side, never took his eyes off of Shane Matthews, and is able to knock that ball down.
Shane Matthews has come up with a right ankle problem, and of course that's nothing new. As Matthews has had his injury problems. Remember the hamstring 2 years ago when he started the year, and the broken bone in his hand last year. So they're going to work on him as Brad Maynard prepares to punt on 4th down. Jermaine Lewis set to return at the 16. Going on the short side of the field. And a terrific return by Jermaine Lewis. A 30-yard return before Mike Brown made the play.
And here's what happened to Shane Matthews on that last throw. You'll see right here at the end of the play, he gets rolled up from behind on that ankle.
And a timeout, 8:46 to go. The Ravens with a lead and good field position. Marvin Lewis, the defensive coordinator, very nearly had a head coaching job, but now the offense on the field for the Ravens, and Terry Allen with a lot more spark running in the second half than he did in the first, picking up 4 yards on the play, with Jerry Azuma coming in to make the tackle.
I think this is the time when there's a look at Miller there. He may be coming in to replace Shane Matthews, but this is a time right here for the Baltimore Ravens when in last year's ball games they would be able to just start feeding the ball to Jamal Lewis and take time off the clock. And this is going to be a good opportunity to see if they can do that still.
2nd down and 8. Gerbach's pass complete to Brandon Stokely, and a 1st down. Stokely, with the big touchdown catch against Jason Sehorn, really started the ball rolling for the Ravens in the Super Bowl as Matthews getting his ankle taped. You saw Jim Miller, who himself coming back after Achilles tendon surgery during the off season, and he had some hamstring problems. Cade McNown, the other quarterback who started last year, traded to the Miami Dolphins, and Danny Werfel is the emergency quarterback for Chicago. Allen again busts inside the 40-yard line, bringing up 2nd down and about 7.
And I agree with you. This will be the mark of whether this Baltimore Ravens offense is going to be able to achieve the goals that they set going into this season. A situation like this, being able to just pound the ball at an opponent that you should be beating, you found yourself in a tight game. Let's just methodically work the ball down the field and eliminate all the time left on that clock. That's what the mark of a champion is.
Jermaine Lewis in the backfield and gets the flip from Gerbach. Here's Lewis, and he fumbles the ball, loose ball, and let's see who recovers it. There's a penalty marker down as well at the 45-yard line. And the Bears have recovered. It was Jerry Azuma who winds up with the football.
Holding number 82 on the offense.
And holding against Shannon Sharp. So the Bears are going to get it back.
1st down.
So the second fumble by the Baltimore Ravens, it was Terry Allen, and now it's Jermaine Lewis.
Well, and here you are right here. You got a wide receiver, Jermaine Lewis, in the backfield. Earlier in the ball game, they threw the ball to him and let him go with it. Now they hand it to him, and he's a guy who's not used to being tackled in that kind of traffic, and the ball comes out.
Under 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and following the Fumble recovery. The Bears get it, and Shane Matthews, who had his right ankle taped up, he returns to the lineup. First down at the 40-yard line of Chicago. And Matthews on play action. And the pass is caught by Fred Baxter, and the tight end picks up about 4 yards on the play. Well, we talked about the second half of this big opening Fox doubleheader this weekend. The Redskins and the Chargers. And Troy, what about Troy? I should say Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator of San Diego, against his former team.
Yeah, well, what a good game that should turn out to be. San Diego's expected to be a better football team with the addition of Doug Flutie. And then you combine the Redskins and then Norv Turner's presence back in San Diego as a coordinator. That's going to be an awfully good one.
And the viewers in the Baltimore area will see that game. Second down and 7. Pass out to Marty Booker. And Booker doesn't get much. That was a great play by Corey Harris, staying with Booker all the way.
Well, we talked about John Shute staying patient with his game plan today, and he really has done that. He's committed to the run. He's thrown the short passes to try and keep himself in third and short and third and medium. But what he did talk about was taking some shots down the field, and it wasn't going to be the double moves that a lot of people thought. He felt he could get a go route with his big physical receivers versus their corners. We haven't seen that yet. There's not much time left to hold that one back.
And at some point, you got to let your players make a play, and you can't continually protect them. Early on is fine, but right now, you're trying to win a football game. You got to start getting the ball up the field.
Third down and 7. Out of the shotgun. Shane Matthews up the middle. Tipped and intercepted. It's Ray Lewis. And Ray Lewis runs out of bounds. And that's how the Ravens managed to get to the Super Bowl last year. The first interception by Lewis was nullified by penalty. That one goes in the books. And could be the pivotal play of this game.
Hey, you watch Ray Lewis. He's right here. He does a nice job of getting back and settling into the zone. They have a shot up the field. A tip ball there. Ray's in a perfect position. Good things happen around the football. And Ray Lewis is one of those guys who's always around the football.
And it was Jamie Sharper who got a hand on it, and Ray Lewis with the interception. And so the Ravens get it back on the 35. So an exchange of turnovers. And the Baltimore Ravens, with 5 minutes and 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter, leading 10-6. And Matthews obviously upset with that decision.
Well, we had just talked about them getting the ball vertically down the football field, and they finally decide to take their shot. And Shane has to be upset with himself because he threw it right to 2 linebackers. Jamie Sharper makes the tip, and here comes Ray Lewis by to clean everything up. They finally open up the reins a little bit. They're going to take their shot, and he throws it into the coverage.
Well, and the disappointing thing for them is that they actually have a chance to Marty Booker down the middle if Matthews is able to get the ball over the top of him. But, you know, here's a guy that there's a reason why he was voted as the Defensive Player of the Year last year and the Super Bowl MVP. And to a man on this football team, when they talk about who the leader is for this football team, they invariably all talk about Ray Lewis. And you can see the kind of emotion that he plays with, the energy that he brings to this football team, and how he gets his teammates playing at a higher level, and that's what all leaders are able to do.
He is definitely the heart and soul of this defense, and if you can find some way to take him out of the game or disrupt his flow in the football game, you've got a chance. But we have yet to see over the last season and now today in the opener any offense that can find a way to disrupt his gameplay.
So the Ravens with a first down on the Bear 34-yard line, and here is Terry Allen. And this is where Brian Billick's plan this year to get up and take the lead didn't quite work out that way, and then run the ball and use up the clock in the second half.
And you take a look here at Shannon Sharp trying to make a block, and he's right here on the end of your screen here. He's not really known as a real effective blocker, as you can see there. He wasn't able to get his head inside. Shannon will love us for pointing that out to him, but you know, obviously he's in the lineup as being a threat as a receiver. He's effective enough as a blocker, but his primary purpose in this offense is to be a receiver.
On 2nd and 7, again it's Allen. Terry Allen fighting hard, winds up about a yard short of the first down as the clock continues to run. McQuarters making the tackle. Well, the Bears with a big opportunity, recovering the fumble by Jermaine Lewis and then turning it over on a big third down play on the interception by Ray Lewis.
A huge play right here for the Chicago Bears defense. Make this stop, hold them to a field goal. You're only down 13-6. You're still only one score away. They've played too well this afternoon to give up right now.
In fact, you can even take 3 off of that total and make it 10-6. So the Bears are in better shape than even you thought.
Well, and you get a short field like that, like what Darryl was just saying, and as a defensive group, the thing that you want to do is just hold them to a field goal and give your offense a chance to be able to go down and score a touchdown to tie this thing up and hopefully get it back into overtime.
So the Ravens calling their first timeout of the second half, and so now there's Brian Urlacher and Greg Blosch, the defensive coordinator. They've got to come up with the answer on this play.
Yeah, they've got to do something here that's going to stop them, and if they're able to do that, and if they do hold Baltimore to a field goal, it then becomes a 7-point game, and there's still plenty of time on the clock for Chicago to go down and get a score. The last thing they can do is allow them, not necessarily just to get this first down, but the last thing that they can allow is them to go in and get a touchdown.
And do you think we might see something maybe a little bit different in this situation? We saw on the 4th down play the Chicago Bears make a big stand, make a stop there. Do you do something a little bit different here? Maybe take a chance out on the edge, maybe throw the ball?
Well, I think Billick's background is that he's not going to just be conservative and just run the football. They're in a formation here that may lend itself to throwing the football.
3 tight ends, and Gerback is going to throw the football. You're right, Troy, and the pass, and it's caught at the 1-yard line by Patrick Johnson. So with the 3 tight ends and short yardage, Brian Billick, as Troy figured, would go to the air, and Patrick Johnson with his first catch of the game, 25 yards, first and goal at the 1.
Well, first of all, it all starts with Elvis Gerback. He's got to be able to come back and have the confidence to turn this ball loose at a critical point in the ball game. He does that. Patrick Johnson is able to get up inside. As you see him here, he jumps back up inside there on Walt Harris. A little better throw gets him into the end zone, but gets him in a position to get a field goal.
First and goal at the 1-yard line. And here is Terry Allen, and Allen did not make it. He was slammed back, and Warwick Holdman and a few other white shirts.
Yikes.
Boy, when you say yikes, Moose, it must be something here.
Well, you can hear that one all the way in the booth. Watch him time his jump and meet him at the top. Boom. Great job, Warwick Holdman. He doesn't move at all. Terry Allen goes backwards. He stays in position off the ground.
I don't know who took the worst of that hit.
I know it wasn't Warwick.
Well, Holdman doesn't look like he feels too good either.
Second and goal. Don't give it to me. Here is Terry Allen going outside. Touchdown.
There you go.
Terry Allen getting the touchdown thanks to a block by the fullback Sam Gash. And the Ravens taking advantage of Shane Matthews' interception toss to Ray Lewis, increase their lead.
And here's the guy you talked about, Sam Gash, leading the way. He's a very unselfish player, doesn't expect to do a lot of rushing or carrying of the football, but he sells out in the running game, and he does a great job on Walt Harris, getting him off his feet, allowing Terry Allen to just walk into the end zone.
Matt Stover on for the extra point. And Troy's worst-case scenario for the Bears comes through. It's a touchdown, and now they are trailed by 11, 17-6.
Yeah, and it was all set up by the third down call by Brian Billick and Elvis Gerback getting the ball there to Patrick Johnson. And, you know, you look at some of the better offensive coordinators in this league, those guys, what makes them so effective, what makes Brian Billick so effective, along with Matt Cavanaugh, we don't want to take away from his importance in this offense, is that they're willing to take those kinds of shots at points like that in a ball game, and you have to be able to do that if you're going to score points and win games.
And you think they would do it more often with a defense as good as their defense is. You know, they stop virtually everybody no matter where you give them the ball. I think it'll be exciting to see if Baltimore becomes very aggressive in their offensive play calling this year.
Oh, and I think that's a great point. You and I have talked about it a lot, that you know, when you have a defense like what you have here in Baltimore, and there's some other teams, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, yet there seems to be a tendency for those same offensive groups to be very conservative, and I don't quite understand it. I think when you're playing behind a defensive group like this team here in Baltimore, that is then when you should have more confidence to maybe be a little bit more wide open and take some bigger shots up the field.
There's the scoring drive. Took only 5 plays, but as Troy mentioned, it was that big third down, short yardage, 25-yard pass to set it up. And Ray Lewis's interception maybe the pivotal play in the game with 2:36 remaining and an 11-point Baltimore lead. Matt Stover kicking off, and Glenn Milburn on the return. He's got the Jets going, and Milburn carries out a few defenders to the 33-yard line. Well, folks, this fall, baseball's postseason airs exclusively right here on the Fox family of networks. Be a part of history as baseball's postseason comes to Fox beginning October 2nd. Who it'll be? Do the Cubs finally get in the playoffs? Can the Braves hang in there? What about Seattle trying to go for the Yankees' National League record? Well, postseason begins October 2nd, and the National League wild card race is tight with the Giants right now a half a game ahead of the Dodgers. Cubs and Cardinals loom as well. It's going to be a great finish and a great postseason. Shane Matthews on first down, flips it up the middle to James Allen, and he gets about 6 yards on the play. Look at the second half possessions for the Bears, who had a couple of long drives in the first.
Yeah, the team that had a 15-play and a 14-play drive in the first half have really struggled offensively this half.
Again, they go underneath to Allen, and Allen close to first down yardage is tackled by Ray Lewis as we wind down to our 2-minute warning. So Lewis picking up where he left off with that key interception after being named Super Bowl MVP. And the 2-minute warning here in Baltimore with the Ravens in front of the Bears 17-6.
Fox NFL Sunday, brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
Okay, guys, gather around.
This is Sam Adams of the Baltimore Ravens. Sam helps the United Way build stronger communities by participating in first aid training developed to help kids succeed. Sam knows the meaning of the word success.
Support his head. Apply gentle pressure. Check the pulse. And do not panic.
Panic.
Sunsplash PSI Net Stadium in Baltimore. The 2-minute warning with the Ravens leading 17-6. They have a first down on the Bears do on the 43-yard line. Shane Matthews out of the shotgun with an empty backfield, and the pass intended for Booker. And defending on the play was Jamie Sharper. Booker today with 9 catches, establishing a career high.
Yeah, he's done some real nice things today, and regardless of what happens in this ball game, I think that, you know, obviously the Chicago team is a young football team, but they've got some things here that they're really going to be able to grow on and improve on and learn from after this. This situation right here, 2-minute offense against this group of defenders, is not an ideal position to be in for any quarterback, I'll tell you that much.
Especially when you need 2 scores.
Second down and 10 at the 43. Matthews, and this time Robinson cannot hold on. Marcus Robinson, who was questionable this week after back surgery in late July, but has played more than just, I would say, a limited amount, and the Bears glad to have him back.
Yeah, it's just a surprise to see him out on the football field, to have that type of surgery that late in the summer going into training camp. Just great to have him out on the football field. But he's going to have to get used to that coming across the middle. They might have heard those footsteps a little bit loud there from Rob Woodson.
3rd and 10. On the 43, under 2 minutes remaining, 1:53 to be exact. Matthews pass underneath. Flag is down, and James Allen with the reception, but there's a penalty marker thrown in the vicinity of where Shane Matthews threw the pass. And it'll be a holding call against the Bears.
Yeah, it's tough duty on this offensive line when the defense knows you're going to have to be throwing the football, and they just pin their ears back and come after them, and that's asking a lot for these guys up front to be able to hold them out.
Holding number 78 on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Blake Brockermeyer.
Take a look right here. Your left tackle, Blake Brockermeyer, on the holding call.
Not only did they know...
He got him right across the top of the head. It was a takedown. It wasn't so much a holding, it was a takedown.
That's worth 2 points in college wrestling.
It's worth 10 yards in football.
4th down and 9. And the Bears having to go for the yardage, trailing 17-6. Shane Matthews' pass is picked off. The interception by James Trapp. And Trapp slides in safely to seal it all for the Ravens. So 2 interceptions here in the fourth quarter. Ray Lewis and James Trapp starting in place of the injured Dwayne Starks. And when all is said and done, guys, at the end of this game, the Ravens defense looked like last year, and their offense looked better than last year.
Well, we kind of talked about the fact that Chicago hadn't really got the ball down the seams or tried to get it vertical, and the 2 times they have in the last 2 series, they've come away with interceptions by the Baltimore Ravens. And I agree with you, Dick, the fact that it's just the same old Baltimore Ravens style of playing football.
Just took them longer.
Yeah, you know, I think that what I would have liked to have seen, I would have liked to have seen Chicago go to more of a little bit of a vertical game earlier than what they did. They only went to it here in the last couple of series out of necessity. I think they got to work on some of that. They got to be a little bit more aggressive. You talk about Baltimore and their defense and the way in which they were able to win this ball game today. The first half was pretty ugly. The first half was not the Baltimore defense that we've seen. They didn't give up a lot of points, but yet they were able to allow long drives. And then offensively, they struggled much what last year's offense did at various times. But in the second half, you know, everything changed. I think we saw the 2000 defense come back for 2001 and play extremely well. And then offensively, they got on track as well.
But a good point. John Shoup promised a more vertical game. He says, when we're going to let it out. And, of course, you know, they did run the ball, but there was times in the second half where they could have done this. But the Baltimore Ravens, in defense of their Super Bowl championship, taking them a while to really put the stamp on. Well, today's game has been produced by Richie Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. Our Associate Director, Derek Manning. Broadcast Associates, Jacob Allman and David Duvall. The technical producer, Dean Walker. Senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. And the president of Fox Sports are David Hill and Ed Gorin. Terry Allen into the line. And thanks up here to Chris Visser and Dave Corris for their support work in the booth. Reason to smile for Ray Lewis today.
Well, I think really a reason to smile for both teams. You know, Baltimore came out, they learned a little bit about their football team, but I think Chicago learned quite a bit about their football team. Greg Blasch didn't really know how good this defense was going to be. He didn't know a whole lot about them when we sat down with him yesterday. His starters had not had a chance to play together as a unit, and you see him right there. I think he has to be pleased because he felt that the defensive line needed to make plays. They did. He felt good about certain matchups, and they proved to be true.
Now, next week, the Bears have their home opener Soldier Field against the Jacksonville Jaguars, a puzzling team because they have had their injury problems.
Yeah, and I think to go back on what DJ said, that, you know, unfortunately in this game of football, someone wins and someone loses, and there are no moral victories. But if there ever was one, I think this would be it for Chicago. And no one was giving them much of a chance coming into this ball game, and yet here they were in the fourth quarter with a chance to win.
And Moose, the Ravens, they have a tougher assignment next week against the Minnesota Vikings here.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what their reaction is in the first half when they had those 2 long drives against that very tough defense. As you pointed out, it took a while for their offense to get untracked. But the mark of a champion is hanging in there. You know, a little bit of adversity is going to show up, and they were able to hang through and work through it. But you see what's coming up for this Baltimore Ravens team. They can't come out and play like they did today for for 2.5 quarters when you're talking about offenses like the Minnesota Vikings, the Denver Broncos, the Tennessee Titans. These are teams that will get ahead of you by a great distance if you come out and play the way they did today.
Right, and we don't know exactly how good Chicago is going to be. We you know, there's still a lot of uncertainty as to what kind of club they're going to have. But some of those teams that we just pointed out that they're going to be facing, we know what kind of teams they're going to have, and they're going to have their work cut out for them.
And we'll get a chance to find out how good this Chicago team can be. You know, you see a common opponent with Minnesota there. You know, they've got an opportunity with Jacksonville, who's a team that's had a lot of injuries in cap. Atlanta, a team that's really trying to find themselves. Arizona, a team that struggled. They got a chance to get off to a good start, and they have played well today. I agree with you. There's not moral victories in the NFL, but they have to be very pleased with their effort today.
Well, the Bears out of timeouts, and the Ravens calling a timeout themselves, and Kyle Richardson will punt with 45 seconds remaining in the game. And we'll check out his hang time. One of the better kickers. This is not going to win any awards. An end-over-end kick, and a flag is down. And let's see if we have a running into or roughing the kicker penalty. Drake Jones, the former Redskin linebacker.
Roughing the kicker on Chicago. 15 yards.
So it's roughing the kicker, 15 yards.
Well, I think Greg Jones has got an argument. He was held as he was getting close to Kyle Richardson. He was getting dragged down. You can see right there. You know, I don't know. That's like being blocked into the guy. He gets yanked down to the ground. You see right there on the right side of your screen, Adelius Thomas just pulls him to the ground. He's really got no option but to go into the kicker. And maybe that's just running into. Maybe it's not roughing.
Well, this was a field goal game. As you look at the penalty story into the third quarter, it was 6-3 in favor of the Bears and Dick Duran's team having the lead. And then all of a sudden the Ravens woke up offensively and they capped a 87-yard drive as Gerbach hit Sam Gash to take a 10-6 lead. Terry Allen with the touchdown run as Tampa Bay ekes by the Dallas Cowboys, your old team, 10-6.
Well, there's another one. How good is Tampa Bay?
Yeah, you sit there and you take a look at that, and there's not many people that gave Dallas much of a chance. Some of the things that they're going through, salary cap problems that they're having, and yet they play toe-to-toe with one of the teams in the NFC that many are picking to go all the way to the Super Bowl. So a lot of strange scores, and it'll bear itself out as we go through the season, but some really strange scores for this opening weekend.
Troy, I know it's just the first week. Do you get the impression as the time runs out, you get the impression that the way football is going to be now is you never know who's going to emerge. I mean, no one thought that the Ravens or the Giants will be there, and maybe teams that are way down are going to emerge almost every year.
You know what? I get the impression that nobody knows anything. I mean, that's about it. Everybody, you know, every year it's different, and there's so much parity, and we talk about it that, you know, who knows what's going to happen. That's what makes it great coming out to the ballpark each week.
I'm sure Terry's going to love that with it. JP and Howie and Chris.
Well, it's good to talk about it, and it's like a good hot stove discussion to talk about what we think will happen, but as time goes on, we know little and little. Game is over, and the Ravens beat the Bears 17-6, and Pam Oliver is down on the field with Elvis Gerbach.
All right, thanks a lot, Dick. Elvis, a little slow out of the gate, but how did you guys keep your poise and then get back in this ball game?
Well, I tell you what, we did start off pretty slow, and we couldn't get drives going. We couldn't convert our third downs, but, you know, at halftime we made some adjustments. We ran the ball a little bit better in the second half and really opened up some holes for us. And it was just really the patience of the offensive line. We knew we had to change it up in the running game to really open up our passing game a little bit. A
little more pressure on you guys because the defense was obviously kind of struggling a little bit later on, a little frustrated. You knew you had to get something going.
Well, I tell you what, this is the veteran group we have on defense and offense on the offensive line. And we knew if we just be patient, good things are going to happen to us. And the defense, I mean, they played a lot of times on the field, and they played great today.
All right, thanks, Elvis. Congratulations. Let's go back to Dick.
All right, Pam. So Dick Stockton for Troy Aikman, Darrell Johnston going back to their babies, and Pam Oliver saying so long as the Ravens win. Stay tuned to Fox Sports for the Toyota Game Break with the gang in Los Angeles. For more information on today's game, log on to foxsports.com.